Hello, and thank you so much for joining me and me and me again. And this other guy who I don't even know how he got here. I didn't send him the link. I didn't invite him around these parts. I challenged him, but I really didn't think he was going to show up.
Kate, shut up, right? I've had the DMs. You've sent flowers to my allotment.
Well, hold on.
You sent all 9 Lone Star albums to my place of work at Cultaholic Wrestling. I got the message. You're bitter that you got very angry with me on Twitter and so unpleasant on Twitter that you got banned for a week. I didn't do nothing other than exist. So I thought, look, we'll smoke a metaphorical pipe of peace together over the world of Ring of Honor. Okay. And I'll invade your privacy for a little bit, just as you've invaded mine.
I've invaded your privacy. You've hacked into my apartment and captured this background. This very background right here, and you've edited me. My goodness. I
had good fun perving through your Instagram to find these 2 delectable women to sit opposite me whilst I finish off this lovely bottle of Malbec.
We do thank you for joining us. It is very late your time, so we very much appreciate you being here. In all sincerity, Tom, having you on is going to be a hoot. But we ask you guys a couple of housekeeping things. We ask you guys to leave a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. It helps us find people in the algorithms. We ask you to send in those super chats if you have anything that you want to say, or if you want to, I don't know, maybe pick a side between me and Tom. If you want to show your support for me in our feud, or you can show for Tom too. But more importantly, we ask you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. A lot of NXT news that came about as this result of a blockbuster episode on Tuesday about Sexy Red, who's 2 Y's and not 2 X's, which I'll always get wrong for the rest of my life. But Ethan Page making his NXT debut and subsequently signing with the company. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com for more information on that, as well as the Jordan Grace crossover, which is very exciting in TNA world. And Joel and Cresta, I'm sure we'll be talking about that on the back of this show, which is very cool. But Sean snagging an interview with the Prohibited Portal, as she was called. Can't say Forbidden Door, but you get the alliteration in there. But Tom, this is your first time in a while, or your first time watching Ring of Honor in real time, because you're not a sicko that watches us at 2-3 in the morning usually.
Ring of Honor? No, I've been watching World of Sport.
Oh
no! I can tell you that Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks went to a draw when Big Daddy belly pushed Giant Haystacks out of the ring.
Oh no! Well,
did anything happen on Ring of Honor?
You know what? Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. you know how AEW has Forbidden Door, right?
Yes, of course.
WWE /NXT /TNA have the Prohibited Portal. You and I, Kate from Off of Fightful, we have the Naughty Window.
We have the Naughty Window.
The Naughty Window.
If that doesn't get you to leave a thumbs up on this video, I don't know what will. We have the Naughty Window. Yeah,
stepping through the Naughty Window.
That's what we're going to do at Wembley, my friend. All right, we're going to step
through come on.
The Naughty Window. But Tom,
Naughty Window.
What were your thoughts kind of overall? I know before we went live, you were saying these just kind of fly by when you're watching them in real time. And that's one of my favorite parts about Ring of Honor. But your overall thoughts kind of on this episode and your live experience watching, even though you're probably very tired.
No, I mean, keeping it 100, as the kids say.
Sure.
Ring of Honor is one of those shows that I very rarely watch as it happens. I will catch up on results. I'll know what's going on. I'll have my finger somewhere near the pulse. But it's the first I've watched it in a while in its full form. And it does spin by. Like, it's a wrestling show. And if you want just undiluted wrestling without too much, and I say without too much of the sports entertainment, there's a fair bit of sports entertainment in this one,
Sure.
More than I remember from my day of Ring of Honor. The one thing that I liked about this, and it's something that you guys have talked about a lot on this show as well, is sometimes the champions are conspicuous by their absence on this very show. It felt like tonight that all but really 1 or 2 belts were in some way represented on the show. Whether they were represented the best way they could be is another story.
Sure.
But they were at least represented here, mainly at the beginning of the show. It felt like quite a top-heavy Ring of Honor, and it threw me back to episodes of Raw from like 1996. where you'd have like the main event like somewhere at the start or in the middle, and then it would just be a couple of rando matches, and then everybody goes to bed. And it felt a bit like that here.
I think that's fair, and also I'm so distracted by my me that is located here. But hearing your criticism through the distractions of myself, I look great in that photo. You could have picked a much nastier photo, so I'll
Of
take
all the
it,
pictures
but
that you've taken, Kate, that's one of them.
it is certainly one of them, and it ain't my worst one. But you're right, we did at least have the presence of champions on the show. Mark Briscoe has not been here since he won the title. He was on paternity leave. I don't know if he's still out, but congratulations to him for having the baby. Would be nice to have our champions around, though. And Wheeler Yuta, 4 months and counting without a pure title representative on the show. So that continues to be a frustration. But to your point, we did have Kyle Fletcher here. We did have, or no, we didn't have Kyle Fletcher here.
We had Kyle Fletcher mentioned.
We had Kyle Fletcher
he's
mentioned.
He's going to be prominent next week. I think the action figures got more name checks than the pure and the world title.
They absolutely did. We had Athena tonight and your tag champions, and my dog knocking over my white girl light.
Your dog was there as well. I think
she's a champion. She doesn't come around to ROH. She's too good. She's too good for ROH.
Is your dog Action Andretti?
She's the champion of just like laying around. So
fine champion at that.
She's incredible at that, like leader of the world in that. But we got some super chats that have rolled in since we started chatting. Tom, buns up for the Bangs Bangs gang. That's what we do around here. All right. Thank you so much, Ricardo, for your continued support. And Will saying, wow, talk about Forbidden Door. This is great to see. Yes.
Nah. Naughty window.
Naughty window. The naughty window here. That is what we've got. Everybody's got their own thing. You've got the prohibited portal. You've got Forbidden Door. Naughty window.
Naughty window. Big hi to you, Will. And a big hi to everybody watching through Sean Ross Sapp's Twitter, because I don't very often pop up in live form in Sean's Twitter. So a big hi if you're looking at me through Sean's Twitter whilst, I don't know, having a go at him for something. Hi to you.
Yeah, yelling at him for accurate reporting or something, but...
How dare he?
We do have our 2 championship presences on the show, kind of back to back here, as you mentioned. We have Athena kicking off the show, followed by the Undisputed Kingdom in a proving ground match in both instances. Decent matches both here. Let's start with Athena's because that kicked off the show, but this is kind of closer to what you wanted of a proving ground match, and that the lovely Viva Van, say that 10 times fast, too, looked great, and we've seen on ROH before. She's a fantastic standout on the indies. She came closer to the 10 minutes than a lot of Athena's, I'll say, victims have before, but this was largely dominated by Athena, as you would kind of come to expect from this. There was a nice arm breaker in here from Viva Van, but this was Athena getting the win. She was kind of toying with Viva at the end of this. Like, just like, you can't last the time limit, but I'm going to make you think you are until I just club you down for the win and the pin here. But this was kind of what we've come to expect from Athena. Good to see her in action. She looked like she had a nasty spill a couple episodes ago where her knee might have gotten caught through the ropes, but it was clearly not too serious, which is great news because she is the workhorse of this brand. But some good stuff here from a proving ground match. My only complaint about this is, and let me be clear, very excited to see Viva Van on the show more and more. But you would think the women in the locker room who just went through the TV title tournament might want a shot at the title, might want to get their hands on a proving ground match. That's a continued frustration that I've had, is that the proving ground matches always go to people who are on the independents who aren't reoccurring, that you know are going to lose. So I would like to see somebody that was in that TV title tournament reappear here. Where's Layla Hirsch? Where's Taya Valkyrie? Like, people like that getting proving ground matches, I think would add some suspense at least to this. But from what we got tonight, a strong match. I appreciate when people at least encroach the time limit so you can plant some sort of believability in my head. But what did you think of this, my arch nemesis?
Well, my arch nemesis, I'm a big fan of Viva Van. I had the pleasure of chatting to Viva for about an hour and a half during lockdown. She was a guest on Desert Island Graps, and she's great. She's got an incredible story. No one does it like Viva Van does.
Oh, sorry,
But
Tom. I think if you look down, it looks like you dropped a name, but just like
oh, hang on, let me
just
pick
name
that up.
dropping over there. Oh, an hour
Oh,
and a half with
yes,
Viva
I
Van.
did
There you
indeed.
go.
I did. There she is. I'll just pop that on the Cultaholic podcast feed for you to check out whatever you like. Next to Steve Maclin, who was on this week. Now, but that being said, I completely agree with what you're saying in the sense that it is weird that these proving ground matches go to people who aren't necessarily in the mix. When you consider that Ring of Honor have this, and they mentioned it tonight a few times, where you've got like you have to rack up a certain number of wins to be in the consideration for a title match. It's disconnect for me where you say, oh, you have to pick up 5 or 6 wins, and then maybe we'll start seeing some contracts come out for title matches. But oh, hello, I'm a rando from the indies. I'm just going to have a fight with the champion straight away. It's not due to lack of depth. I think it's due to lack of ideas. I think Athena is currently between stations at the moment. There is nobody on the Ring of Honor roster that has the Kavorka of Athena.
Oh, nice.
And
hell yeah.
She has the swagger that unfortunately is now at a point where she's ready to go. But there's nobody behind her outside of like a baby face Billy Starks, which doesn't seem possible now, that can fill the void that she would leave. And these random matches with excellent talent like Viva Van, and that's not a diss to Viva Van in the slightest, but it doesn't help in filling that void that would definitely be left when she takes her rightful place on a higher echelon than Ring of Honor.
Agreed. We also saw this incredible match between Athena and Shida. And
yes,
I'm kind of wondering why we're not using, because the women's division in AEW has grown so much, but there are still women that aren't being utilized there, and having them come down to Ring of Honor and one of them to throw to Athena maybe, so that you're kind of trading if you don't feel like anyone is there. I feel like there's people there that if they gave them consistent reps could be made by beating Athena, like a Layla Hirsch or someone. But just have Shida win it next time if you don't feel like someone can be made by that, I guess. But it is very odd. It is very odd. I'm glad you're a Viva Van fan. I think
a Viva fan,
star.
if you will.
A Viva fan, exactly.
I
think she's great as well, and certainly not a slight at her. It's a slight at the booking of a proving ground match to say, what are we really doing? And the women's division in ROH has been such a strength. We've seen a lot of that get pared down since we kind of switched to this 1 hour format, which I like, but it's just been less women's matches and a lot of squashes. So we'll see. We'll see what is to come. But we got some more chats from Taylor Cannon, who is so kind and so wonderful and supportive of us. We thank you, Taylor. Next time they'll only say hi to me because Tom stinks. Shea Monster saying TMDK, that's
Getting
me.
Banned from Twitter again if you're not careful.
Ban me from YouTube. Ban me from it all.
Oh, I've got connections. I certainly will.
Listen, you gave me the most peaceful week of my life when that happened, so I'll take it. But
wait till August, it'll be the loudest. Sorry, carry on.
Seeing Athena limp like Cope after that match sucked. Hope she's good. How we feeling about Zak Knight so far? I'm on board. We're going to talk about Zak Knight in a little bit. We will get there, but you might have some more special attachments to him than I do. But let's move into our next proving ground match, which was a tag team match with Nick Comoroto and Jacoby Watts. And this is a little bit weird of an act, not gonna lie, but we do have our second proving ground match. If you don't know in the chat what a proving ground match means, is you have to either beat the champion or you have to last 10 minutes in the ring with the champion, and then you earn a title shot. So you don't have to get the pin, but you do have to not lose within a 10-minute time frame in order to earn a title shot. Happens very rarely on Ring of Honor. In this rendition, we've seen, I think, just the infantry do it and nobody else, because the infantry is actually on the roster. But this proving ground match was an interesting one. You get the nice coat of honor in the beginning. Comoroto with kind of a new look. He's definitely one of the biggest guys around. heavy strikes in this that were super, super fun, especially against Taven, who was a size differential for him, which I liked. You do get Taven getting in this, though, and Bennett entering to knock Comoroto around a little bit since he has a bit more size. And then you have Watts convincing Comoroto that he doesn't need to tag in, which I thought was an interesting kind of character development with this duo.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in you. You've got this. I'm good. But you get Bennett with the Spicoli driver for the win. Watts not entering the match here, which makes sense because I felt as though he was going to be more of a managerial figure in a lot of senses. He didn't really present himself as a proper tag team partner. So this is one where I feel like they should not have proven their ground, probably. Like that would have felt like a weird hot shot. And this did advance the story, so I don't mind it as much. Comoroto still has some fluidity stuff to work on, I think. But overall, I was happy to see him getting reps. They've changed his presentation from like bad guy beast to extremely silly guy with a lollipop. And now it feels like they have maybe more of a creative plan in place for him moving forward. But it is kind of fun to have a bruiser around because we don't really have a lot of those in ROH. They're all kind of sucked up into the main roster. So I'm glad we have someone who works like him around, and ROH is for improving, right? But this kind of Bible thumping dude, I'm still feeling out. It doesn't feel like a character that is for me, but I won't judge it before we get to see a little bit more out of it because it's very, very new to the program. So it is kind of interesting that he was like, I don't need to be in this. I believe in you. Kind of a fun heel psychology there. Just weird he was using heel psychology on his own partner so soon. But what did you think of this?
I like Jacoby Watts, like a Jamestown JBL type figure.
Okay, I can buy that.
There's something in the idea of him leading like a congregation of people in his way, and like a cult following, but not like a spooky one, because I'm a bit burned out on spooky factions now.
Me too.
But something a little bit more maybe ecclesiastical type thing, and I like it a lot. Nick Comoroto, who if you've fallen out of Ring of Honor and you've dipped back in, you barely recognize him from who he was a few years ago in AEW. He now looks like the guy playing Wolverine in X-Men the musical. Which is
That's
strong
a musical. I love it.
I like him as a goofy boy because there's enough meatheads on the roster, and him kind of being sucked in by this Jacoby Watts thing is really fun. The fact that Jacoby didn't get tagged in at all, and then even afterwards, Nick was still going, "Oh yeah, but come on, I believe in you." And like there's a lovely story being told there. I want to see a few more people join this. I don't know if we need Jacoby Watts to be a wrestler. I think that is a persona that definitely feels like a managerial type, a bit JBL, a bit Robert Lee Parker, and I'd like to see more of that. But it's again, same issue that I had with Athena's match, in the sense that you've got this tag team division that you're building in Ring of Honor, and you have to earn a certain amount of matches. The main event match had like tag team implications, which was the reason that we had that in the main event. And it's just like, oh, here's these guys who are just maybe getting a title match, despite the fact there are others who have been grafted to earn it ahead of them. So I don't like that. I don't know. I like the concept of proving ground. I think these matches are going to the wrong people, though.
I agree. I feel like in the ROH of yore, and I try not to compare eras all that much, but it always felt like those were going toward established young upstarts who were on the cusp of something. And so it made you think maybe they could sneak one. Like maybe they could earn something that was going to lead to like a surprise title reign or whatever. You at least had this kind of buy-in factor. It does not feel that way in this ROH. It feels like if you're in the division, you have a worse shot of getting a title shot than some random person on the indies, which is not how that should work. But I'm with you on a lot of what you said. I think Jacoby Watts leading a congregation could be a really fun angle. Agreed that you don't necessarily need him in ring, but adding more people to this, I think is probably the best shot of it working. Fully agree with you there. But we move on to what was probably the most superfluous match of the night. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yeah, we could have not had it, but I'm kind of glad we did, because I like both guys involved. They were fun.
Agreed. This is a solo outing for Serpentico, who has a new mask. The only thing that I will say is Serpentico coming out alone for this. Like, one of my chief complaints about ROH is that we have so much mix of who is on what brands and in what divisions. And Serpentico just got a tag team win last week with Angelico, or at least was it a tag team match? They might have lost. I think they won.
But even so, they're in a tag team.
They were in a tag team at the very least. And now he's out here picking up a singles win. And commentary, who is the best commentary in the game for my money, Ian Riccaboni and Caprice all day. They're trying their best here to be like, he's picking up momentum. And I'm like, is he going to be in a trio next week? Who knows? But this match was pretty fun. Serpentico, a lot like John Cruz, even though they're so different. It's hard to make this comparison, but really both of them, the only similarity between the two is that they're very good at giving a story to something that doesn't necessarily have a strong story and making young talent look good, in my opinion. And Serpentico can really kind of crank up the pacing of a match or slow it down based on his opponent. There had a lot of really fun, fast-paced stuff in it, a lot of really, really smooth stuff in here. Brady Roberts, clearly no slouch either, had the upper hand a lot in this, which I liked. Like, it's believable that Serpentico would lose because we see a lot of that. But a really fun surfboard spot in here in a somewhat literal sense. Serpentico was face down on this. Some chops in the corner from Serpentico in this as well, but ultimately he hits the senton for the win. It doesn't feel like this is necessarily going anywhere, but it didn't hurt on such a thin episode to have this match in here. I was impressed by what we saw out of Brady Roberts. He definitely knows how to work a ring, but Serpentico really knows how to... He's very versatile in how he can adapt to his opponents, for sure, in my opinion. What say you, Tom Campbell?
I did some digging into Brady Roberts because the big thing that they talked about on comms is that he's a movie star and a wrestler. So I went on Brady Roberts' IMDb, and he's done some stuff. He played Nightwing in Nightwing Prodigal, so he's played a DC hero. He played a thug in Minority Report, but he's uncredited, so good luck finding him. He's in there somewhere. And he's also listed as playing a security guard on Raw and SmackDown over between like 2013 and 2017. So I don't know when he's popped up there, but chances are you have seen him separating wrestlers on WWE television. So he's a jobbing actor. He's, you got to work where you got to work.
That's it.
I enjoyed him here though. But I love Serpentico. Like, I follow Serpentico on Twitter. The stuff that I really want, the stuff with him and Nyla Rose, whilst it's found a home on some of the indie circuits, like that on Ring of Honor television would just be magnificent. 100%. Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun to bring that into it. Does Serpentico, is it me? And I'm not like, I couldn't do it. So I ain't saying I do any better. Does Serpentico hit a really slow senton compared to other people? I don't know what it is. I guess maybe when I see someone like a Jeff Hardy hitting a swanton, it's very fluid, very energetic motion. Serpentico almost goes in slow motion as he does it. And it just threw me a little bit. Like, he sort of goes through a time portal and just moves a bit slower as he rotates. Did the job anyway. It was just a weird observation. Maybe I'm tired.
Maybe you're watching on delay because it's like 3 a.m. your time. Yeah.
Maybe it's taken a while to beam from America. But I've got a lot of time for Serpentico. And whilst he, like I said, he's obviously doing stuff in the tag team in Ring of Honor, but there's part of me that just goes, bin that off, do the stuff with Nyla Rose, do the odd couple stuff with Nyla Rose on Ring of Honor. That'd just be fun.
Yeah, a mixed tag program would be very fun. That is.
And Tony wants to bring in more belts. He wants to bring in a mixed tag belt because, we haven't got enough belts because not everyone's got one yet. So why not have
guys? Oprah Winfrey with belts. You get a belt. You get a belt.
Look under your chair. There's a title belt for
your chair. Oh my God, it was me. I got one.
We're all champions. Thank you, Tony.
Goodness. It is I don't think any of the creative issues in AEW have to do with the lack of belts. I'll put it that way. That
No,
certainly
more
seems for
belts.
sure. Well, I would love for more belts on Ring of Honor. I just want the ones that already exist on Ring of Honor, please.
So greedy, Kate. Like you
know
had
what I
2
would be
proving
in
ground
favor of?
matches, and you want more, for God's sake.
I want more. I genuinely think that a mixed tag, I didn't hate it when WWE did it, like a mixed tag tournament of some sort, because there are talent that isn't being used. Doing that as like a YouTube thing without a title, just a tournament, could be really fun. Of like you have some couples in there, you have Nyla and Serpentico, right? Like you could create some really, really fun things. You could have Julia and Brody when Julia's healthy, like just as a separate YouTube thing, I think could be super, super fun. I don't think we need more belts, but I think they could be a cool program. I also
listen to
wasn't
the haters, Tony. More belts. Bring us more belts.
No more belts. Just
Sean,
the belt.
tell Tony more belts.
I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you so hard. No more belts. Just the existing belts.
Promises.
On the programs that they exist for is all that I ask. I'll ask you this too, because I brought up YouTube content for AEW. I was in favor of Meat Madness being a full March Madness style tournament. That might be too American. I don't know. You tell me. But like a 64-man Meat Madness tournament, I think would rule.
I'm for them leaning into the meat more. And it's a sad thing that we didn't see it happen because they didn't have the right number of people there ready to pull it off or whatever. But I love the Meat Madness proposition. And someone needs to lean into it. If it's not AEW, it needs to be WWE. Girthy boys are cool again. And I think we should fully embrace it. Hey, Tony, what about a meat championship for all the meat boys? Let's add a belt there. Let's add that belt as well. We'll do a meat tag belt, a meat singles belt, a meat TV belt. Do all of them. Meat continental belt. We don't have enough.
Oh no, is your audio? Are you having issues? Oh no. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. You know what? While Tom is fixing his audio over there, I'm going to call up this very generous chat from Bridget, who says, I'm so happy to see Tom on the show tonight. He's awesome. Look, I like you sending in $25 chats. That makes me look really good, and I appreciate it. But you're going to put Tom over in the process after our feud? After we've been throwing fisticuffs this whole time?
She knows where the power lies. Bridget, you get a belt.
I don't... Bridget, you know what? Bridget does get a belt. Bridget does get a belt. You get the super chat belt for today.
Wait.
We should have a super chat belt and award it every episode.
Tony.
Oh, no. Sean. A super chat
tell
belt
Tony.
would bring it. See, you're bringing in money and I still can't have you back. What a pain. What am I supposed to do with that? But what are we supposed to do with the problem, Marina Shafir, who I was like, is that a librarian who just showed up? She did not look her badass usual self. I was not used to seeing her in street clothes, but it was a fun look. And I love when wrestlers who aren't wrestling that night aren't in gear, because that always looks extremely silly. But I barely recognized her kind of off the bat with her cool glasses, but I liked them.
Is this a new energy for Marina Shafir?
Well, she's still I don't want to say problematic, like that there's issues with her, but she's still a problem, according to her. She has this interview with Lexi Nair, and they discuss her being a problem that nobody in ROH can really solve. And she says that if you don't take care of a problem, it gets worse. So I don't know if her look was just a cool thing that we get to see what she looks like outside of having no shoes on and her badass gear, or if we're like switching up the playbook. Her style, I think, is really cool. And the more reps she gets, the better she gets. Like, she's definitely, Anna Jay falls into that category too. I feel like when I see them have frequent reps, they're just more comfortable, more fluid. And I know Marina's been working a lot on the indies, doing some great work there. Shane Monster says, I thought it was a terrifying mom look. She did talk about her son last week, so maybe this is just her being like, I'm a mom, but I'm about to remind you of the problem that I am. We didn't get a lot of backstages tonight. This one was fast and effective. I enjoyed it. What did you think of the problem becoming a worse problem?
It was Marina Shafir looking like a stern mother wearing glasses saying we're about to have a problem. I was fine with this.
That is the most English thing you've said so far tonight.
Well, okay. I could go more English and go, well, blimey.
I'll take it.
I took it as well. I like Marina Shafir. Why? I know obviously we had a run around with Shafir and Rousey and Athena and Billy, but let's run that back again. Come on.
She would be a fun challenger for that.
She'd be a great challenger.
What do you think? Also me and also me. Not weird at all.
They've said nothing all night. They've stared wistfully at the top of my head. Holding their chest, so maybe they're having heart palpitations at the same time.
That's true. It's your heart skips a beat when you just know you're gonna kick somebody's butt at Wembley Way, but you know, is what it is. Is what it is, guys. We're having fun tonight. Leave a thumbs up on this video, please. Get in your super chats. No humper chats tonight. This is a super chat program only. It's PG. We don't do that humper chat business around here, I guess. I just don't have access to it, but we appreciate that. We'll also take a quick moment to remind you to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. News about Chad Gable and his contract suit approaching went up today. Makes sense. It feels like there's been a couple of hiccups in that IC title picture. Felt like for sure he was going to win, and now it doesn't feel like we have had terms. Becky Lynch, promise you guys when there's an update, we will have it for you. Sean is very steadily on that beat for sure. There's just tons of contract news still coming down the pike. I don't know what to tell you. Dijak is still floating around out there. He's been drafted to Raw, hasn't been on TV, getting the Odyssey Jones treatment. What is going on with contracts in WWE? Sean Ross Sapp is going to have all the scoop skis that you can get and more. There's some New Japan contract news, I think, on its way. So be prepared. A lot of free agency happening this month and the rest of this year in general. But in addition to that, a couple of really great things you get with Fightful Select. The Discord, so you can avoid Twitter and getting yourself banned on it if people are being mean or weird to you.
Oh, I might join then, because there's people are weird and mean to me all the time on Twitter.
Well, just know that I have mod powers, okay? So if you try to start anything, I will kick you out. But thank you for being.
You said mom powers. Then I was like, "What are you gonna do?"
I mean, basically,
take me to my room without my dinner.
What is a mod if not really just a digital mom for the Discord environment? But also bonus podcast back there. You get me and Alex Pulowski doing pay-per-view post shows, PLE post shows back there as well. You also get Sean Ross Sapp's Q&A. There is a Q&A channel in the Discord where he broke some news yesterday before even writing it up. So join that Discord. But also the Q&A show is just a nice, usually around 45 minutes, aggregation of everybody's questions that he's able to get answers for the week. So a lot of value at FightfulSelect.com. Best $5. Think about that, Bridget. You could have given away 5 months of Fightful Select instead of saying that Tom is cool. Okay.
That was the best $25 in the business.
You know what? Makes me look good. I'll take it. But we move on to Red Velvet and Kel, who is tall.
I'm sorry, but I don't know what it is. I'm a sucker for fun comedy timing. And it was the Red Velvet got the intro, and then they went, and her opponent, Kel. Oh, wow, she's tall.
Caprice is unbelievable. There's
so vague.
He is so. Him and Ian are just a married couple at this point, I feel like, in commentary. Like, Ian is my favorite play-by-play guy. And there's also some real magic that happens with him and Nigel McGuinness when he's on those Collision shows or anytime that they are sharing a booth together. Their call of Bullet Club Gold versus FTR is one of my favorite calls ever. And that was almost an hour. But like Caprice has this really special energy where he offsets his ability to give a wrestler's perspective on things and so much ROH history because he's been a part of it for so long with just like an absolute party of a personality on commentary. And he had a couple of those every episode, but sure, right here, I had the same thought at you when he was like, she's tall, because you genuinely have that reaction watching at home, right? You immediately notice that about her, but she is a former basketball player. She's got, 8 inches taller than Red Velvet, probably, at least in this. But you have Velvet kind of stepping into the more veteran role in this, able to keep her off of her feet a lot. Like, I like that Red Velvet had a game plan in this of, she's taller than me, but not when she's on her knees. That's fine by me, but there's some shoulder blocks and some knees in this, and she kind of wears Cal down to pick up the pin. But the post-match is where the real magic happens. You get Athena's music hitting, and Velvet faces her. And of course, Billy Starks in street clothes, looking really badass, I gotta say. Just bashes Red Velvet's face into the belts and knocks her out. And she bolts as the ref tends to Velvet in the ring. Match was fine. It was very one-sided, so not a lot to write home about. But I think there's something really cool when you have a height advantage over people, but not necessarily like a huge weight advantage over people. It just feels different. Like, it feels like your advantage is different when you're towering over someone, but you kind of have a leaner frame, in good ways and bad, right? You don't have the strength advantage, but you do kind of have the idea of everybody has to come in and try and knock you down, which is pretty cool. This is, in 24 hours, the third, oh my God, someone behind me has attacked me angle that we've had between AEW and ROH. They've done it twice with Swerve, who of anybody I feel like should be one of the most street smart champions that you've ever had, and assumes that people are going to be around when he's talking to somebody that has very notable friends, largely because he has led multiple stables. But 3 times in a 24-hour period, I know it's different programs, but I watch a lot of wrestling, just too much. We're running this trope into the ground. Other than that, Billy looked fierce. Like, that shot to the title was something else. So this was perfectly serviceable and advancing along what it needed to advance. But what did you think of this?
Yeah, I think Tony Khan needs to update his copy of EWR because we're getting the same finishes to each match. But regardless of that, to Kel, I thought give Kel some time. There's something there. I don't think it was here. It was just there to kind of give Red Velvet a dub. I enjoyed Billy Stark's little comedy run up to Velvet just before she attacked her. I never thought I'd get behind a heel Billy Starks. I think Billy Starks for me was always one that was almost too adorable to hate, but then she's really manifested in ROH this bad persona that doesn't remove her from who she is. It's been really masterful the way that she's done it. She's also very much like Kel. You forget that Billy Starks kind of towers over everybody in the roster as well. Like you said, tall but lean. So everyone kind of has to adapt their style a bit to Billy Starks. And some people do it really well and some people don't. But most of the time we get magic with her. So a Billy Starks Red Velvet continuation for the women's TV title. I think I'm fine with that. It's nice to have somebody who in a title feud that isn't just I'm waiting for someone to beat me.
Yes.
It's actually, it feels like there's some story and some meat behind it. And Billy Starks is the only one currently doing that. And I'm very much enjoying her work. There was a point where I thought that by having Billy go back with Athena, it felt like a jump the shark moment, but I'm putting that shark back in the water because I think maybe we're building to something else. Now, the story has taken a very intriguing turn. Maybe it's Billy that sends Athena packing, a babyface Athena sent packing by a heel Billy Starks. And that is the way that we see Athena off the roster. Off to AEW, maybe. But I do like Evil Billy now. I'm on board, fully on board with Evil Billy.
Could not agree more with what you said. I was very hesitant about her being paired back with Athena. I was very hesitant about her working heel, but she not only has mastered the heel character, her in-ring work, the way that she's adapted it as well. I feel like that's something that can kind of get lost, is the adaptation of how you actually work as a heel in the ring versus like, I'm a bad guy with the same exact in-ring maneuvers. And to your point about Billy's height, she also has very long limbs, and I would love to see her in a match with like a Serena Deeb or a Layla Hirsch or Deanna, somebody more technical, because I feel like attacking limbs with somebody so technical when they're as long as Billy's is, especially with Layla Hirsch because she has such a height advantage on Layla. I want to see that. Like, I want to see that match.
Layla
really.
Hirsch, like pulling and tearing at the limbs of Billy Starks like a limpet, like wearing her down would be a fantastic match. That'd be a wonderful way to sell like the bollard-like strength of Layla Hirsch. And the tenacity of a Billy Starks. I'd love that. In my head, when you mention Layla Hirsch and Billy Starks and potentially the match, I see Layla Hirsch with her entire body wrapped around one of Billy Starks' legs in a leg lock for about 4 minutes. Yes. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and Billy would sell the hell out of it. I think it could be super fun. Super fun. We got some more love coming in for you, unfortunately, saying, I can't wait for Total Nonstop Arsehole's next big single. Good stuff. I can't even deny that. That is just good stuff out there. I sing that every day, says NYUSC 99. What a wonderful chat. Thank you so much. Also give me, Nigel, Kate, and Tom on commentary one night in ROH.
Oh, the world ain't ready for that, Jelly. I don't think.
I wouldn't be able to hold it together. I don't fangirl all that often. Nigel McGuinness, I could never do it. I just can't. I went to his magic show and was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. I just love Nigel so much.
He's so good. He seems like a really lovely egg as well. He seems like a really interesting guy to be around. His
work, like in the ROH of yore especially, but also on commentary and oh my gosh, I will talk about Nigel's.
We should try and take him for a pint after our fight at Wembley Way.
Oh my gosh. He should settle it. He should be the special guest referee.
Even better. And then we'll all go for a pint. I think, you miss 100 of you miss all the chances you don't take. So we should invite Nigel McGuinness for a pint after our fight on Wembley Way.
I'm in. I could not be more in on that.
Fantastic.
I booked. This is going to shock you, not even a little bit. You're going to be the least shocked by this information. But everybody's calling for Danielson and Nigel at Wembley.
Oh, yes. The slow burn on that has been excellent. Like, Nigel was ready to go last year, it seemed.
I know, but I feel like Danielson has largely been in the creative mix too much. And I don't think in his retirement year they would do that match, because if he's going to be part-time, attraction matches are what you can do in his part-time run. So I thought, if only there was another extremely technical Brit that hasn't worked Wembley yet, who calls everybody dickhead.
Giant haystack.
You know what? Why not? Let's do that too. ZSJ Nigel. Oh man.
Oh no, that would be good fun. That would be great. But I do think the money is in Danielson and McGuinness, and I think that it'll happen for the same reasons you think it won't, because Danielson is kind of in the creative mix, and he is kind of starting to wind down a bit, and it feels like he's just ticking off a lot of dream matches. Let's get this done before he calls it.
I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like if that's a match you can do in someone's post-career career, you might as well, because that's also something that would draw if you wanted to throw it on Wrestle Dream or whatever, right?
But Wembley is the place to do it for the Nigel McGuinness connection. And I don't know how long. I would hope that they would do Wembley every year, but I don't know whether they will. I don't think All In 2024 is sold as well as All In 2023.
Sure.
Wembley's an expensive place to run,
sure.
And whether or not they would want to stretch it and do it every year, I don't know. So if this is potentially the last year they do it, or it could be, get them on there sooner rather than later.
That's also making a huge leap that Nigel is cleared and okay to do it. But yeah, no, I would love it. I'm just thinking if they're going to have Danielson in the mix against present day stars, I would not be mad. I would not be mad about Nigel versus ZSJ at all.
There is that. Zack Sabre Jr. would be fabulous at that, in that role.
Speaking of British Zacks, what a segue that I didn't even try. That was teed up for me.
Wonderful
Just
work.
by this card.
What a pro, ladies and gentlemen. What a pro.
Thank you. Thank you. We get Zak Knight and Sebastian Wolf. And I feel like some people, my Tuesday night co-host Alex Pulaski, said Zak Knight looked like British Karrion Kross. And so he took that very personally and said, I am going to be British Sheamus and go from Ireland to this. Feels genuinely like you can speak to the authenticity of the look much better than I can. It does feel a little close to what a go-go has been presented as. And here's the
thing.
Way.
And here is the thing. Anthony Ogogo dresses like that, flat cap and a long coat. Zak Knight, flat cap and a long coat. Sheamus, flat cap and a long coat. Ridge Holland, during his initial run, flat cap and a long coat. All those people representing the Peaky Blinders look. It's a Peaky Blinders look. And none of those people emanate from where Peaky Blinders is based, which is Birmingham in the West Midlands. So that look is exclusive to there, but they've gone, oh, Peaky Blinders, that's a big deal. Let's get every UK wrestler dressing like Peaky Blinders.
I will say with the Go-Go, I like it because he's so built. It's like almost not becoming of him in a good way. Like it feels like he's like we're watching him be too physically built for the look, and it kind of comes across as really badass in a way. Zak Knight almost looked like he was trying to advertise that he was British. It felt like a lot to my American eyes.
Have you watched Peaky Blinders, Kate?
I haven't. I've been yelled at by several people that I need to.
Well, for those who are listening who are watching it, a fun little trivia fact: Thomas Shelby, aka actor Cillian Murphy, is currently 13 miles away, 13 miles away from where I'm sat, because they are in the northeast of England filming a new zombie survival horror film. So he is in the vicinity, which is quite exciting. The prospect that I could pop into town tomorrow and maybe bump into Thomas Shelby, and then I'll tell him what Zak Knight is doing, and he'll be furious.
Well, I guess he's pretty close to me because you are clearly in my office right now as we speak.
Oh, no, this is my office. That makes this even creepier.
But it's my background.
No, this is my wallpaper. I thought it'd be too weird. I thought it'd be too weird to put you in the Kate Shrine room. So we're in my office instead.
Oh, that isn't. At least that isn't weird. So
you know, Hey Arnold. You know
yeah.
Helga.
Is it put together with bubblegum?
I've been collecting all your bubblegum for many years. Sean Ross Sapp has been posting them to me via FedEx.
I knew it. Damn you, Sean. Can't get away from that guy. He's over here putting you over on his So What Do You Want to Talk About shows and burying me while I'm at the beach, kicked out of Twitter. I mean, what?
God, he's a love. He's a love.
Oh, yes. Isn't he just the sweet pea? He is kind of
He's a canny lad, is our Sean.
He's delightful. I can't even deny it. But Zak Knight and Sebastian Wolf, they make a big deal out of Zak Knight being undefeated. I feel like we haven't seen him in 2 months.
Still undefeated.
And he was on Rampage, but
I haven't had a match since 2020. I'm undefeated.
I haven't had a match ever, and I'm going to be 1-0 after Wembley. So how about that? But we get Knight getting into his gear in time for the match, I guess, here. But he tosses Wolf around. This is a glorified squash here. This is just him laying in some really, really hard blows on poor Sebastian Wolf. Big stalling suplex in this. Huge lariats and a knockout punch at the end. Feel like you can't use the knockout punch. I feel like you can't have two guys dressed the same way come out and end the same move. But point made, right? Zak Knight is undefeated. This is a squash, but it's not like a 2 moves and go home squash. This is watch all the different ways I can kick your ass squash. So I appreciate that, because I said this the other day. I feel like a lot of times squash matches are like, wow, that guy's really big. And I knew that when I saw that guy. So even in a squash, at least give me a little bit of dimension, because I already knew that about the dude when I saw him with my eyes. So we do get some really hard-hitting stuff with Zak Knight here. What did you think about this? Poor Sebastian Wolf, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. and Pete. R.I.P. I want to run to you, Sebastian Wolf. Got a right shoe in here, lad. I'm happy to see Zak Knight. It's good to see one of the Knight family having a good time on AEW television this week. That's the whole thing.
Sure
new Saraya figure out this week. Oh, that's wonderful timing. Get them while you can. Zach looked great here. I've been a big fan of Zach for many years. I'm about to drop a name. I'll be ready for it. I've called several of his matches. Oh, there it is. Just going to pick that up, pop that back there again. He's come to see us in Newcastle. He's brilliant, and I'm glad to see him getting his due. One little bit I liked of his, I'll give it a little nod, is when Sebastian Wolf got the vaguest of offense, and Zak Knight rolled out of the ring as if he'd been knocked out of the ring, and then spun on his heels, rolled straight back in, and decked him again. I thought
it was pretty sweet.
I've not seen it before, and I thought I like that. That's like an extension of the older the move that Moxley does, which was inspired by World of Sport star Les Kellett, where he bounces off the ropes and then just hits a lariat on the way back through. I liked it a lot. Again, the knockout punch. You've got a go-go on your team, and he's kind of the master of the knockout punch. Maybe a move that isn't a knockout punch.
Yeah, and so much of his character's been built around it already, right? Like I'm with you on that. Nice to see the Nightmare Factory, now that they've broken up, like getting reps on ROH, though. We've got a few more of those guys that we're going to talk about in a second. But they just went away for a while. So I was glad that after Cody left and all the Nightmare Factory stuff ended, now we're starting to see them reappear. But Auntie Collins saying, Tom, Katie coexisting? I am no Katie.
Hey,
I am just Kate.
Are you Rob or Maggie?
I will take the Maggie seat for the continuity of our extremely saucy jokes.
and I will take the exit.
Wow, Rob Wilkins in the mud.
I'm kidding. I'm not man enough to be Rob, so I'll do my best to be. Rob, I love you. I'll be back on soon with more Mel Coleman bootleg artwork to sell.
There you go. That's what you need.
They let me flog me Mel Coleman bootlegs.
I love it.
Coexisting.
I love it.
If you do love Mel Coleman's art, by the way, but you don't want to spend that kind of money, come to me. I'll do you a cheaper version.
There you go. Get Mel the Coleman worst approved. Thing here. So what's funny about this?
Well done, Zach.
What's fun about this? So my full name is Kate. It's not like Catherine or Kathleen or anything. My parents were like, we're going to call her Kate anyway. We'll just name her Kate. But someone pointed this out to me, and it's kind of true. There is an energetic difference between Kates and Katies that can't really be described. But like, I'm a Kate and not a Katie. But like, if you met a Katie, you would be like, "Oh, that's a Katie, not a Kate."
Totally
there's
with
just
you,
like, right? Like, there's just like a softer energy around the Katies, a little more gentle, and I feel like Kates have a little bit more of like a little zip to them.
I'll give a big shout to North Wrestling referee Katie Crosby, who is absolutely every bit of Katie.
Isn't it so? You know what that means?
Possible. Yeah, I know exactly what that means. And anyone that knows Katie Crosby will know that she is absolutely a Katie in the way that this is described.
It's wild how when I say that, people are like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he's saying, phone typo, I'm walking the dogs before my stream. Well, shout out to Auntie Collins. Go watch her stream after you watch this stream. But also keep Joel and Cresta on. Because everybody has multiple screens these days. Watch one on your phone, watch one on your computer, and rock and roll.
All of them at the same time.
Guys, we're coming down the home stretch with 2 more matches. Get in any more super chats that you may have. And please leave a thumbs up on this video. As usual, Joel and Cresta coming on to talk some TNA after this, which should be a very exciting show. Not a lot of championship presences on this episode of TNA, but you did get to see Mustafa Ali in action, and I'm sure they're going to have so much to talk about with Jordynne Grace showing up on NXT to challenge Roxanne Perez and the possible implications of TNA and WWE working together. So stay tuned for that. Sean will also continue to poke and prod away on FightfulSelect.com about that working relationship. Is this a one-off? What are we to expect of it? Seems like the talent in both companies really want it. So I'm hoping for an AJ Styles return for the 20th anniversary. I think that could be really special.
Oh, do not threaten me with a good time. That'd be amazing.
Well, Adam Pearce was like, nah, you're not getting another title shot here. Or Nick Aldis, sorry. Nick Aldis was like, nah, no title shots for you. So maybe he's like, fine, I'll go to TNA. I think that could be cool.
That.
I would love that too. That would be really special. That would be really special. But we get a triple threat here with Lee Johnson, Aaron Solo, and Action Andretti, who on any given week might be in a tag team or might be in a trio or a single star. We don't know. We don't know. But this match was fun. It was won by Lee Johnson, who you kind of figured just from the rep's perspective, he was in that TV title picture with Kyle Fletcher, grown tremendously in the ring over the course of the past year, 18 months or so. A lot of fun near falls in this, especially later in the match, but you have Andretti with an errant super kick and Johnson slamming Solo for the pin and the win. A fun match here, a fun triple threat. You can tell these guys are all still a little bit younger because there were just some psychology things that either looked a little too choreographed or spots where people looked a little too lost, but that just comes with time and reps. I feel like there was a lot of this that felt like, okay, then you go and then I go and then this happens or whatever. But just nitpicking because that's what we are here to do. But this was very high energy, a lot of fun, some good super kicks in this, especially I will say. But that standing moonsault for Andretti was probably the biggest spot of the match where he tried to get both of them. Couldn't get the job done, but an impressive spot nonetheless. Decent match. I don't really have any complaints about this. Lee Johnson continuing to pick up wins is great. Would love for him to be the kind of guy that gets a proving ground match. That seems like the track that we're used to for proving ground matches of like this young guy hasn't had a title yet, picking up some wins, getting some momentum, had a title shot and lost. Like he feels like the kind of guy that should get a proving ground match and actually prove his ground. But what did you think of our triple threat tonight? And how are you feeling about what we got at a Big Shotty Lee in this?
Well, big shout to Action Andretti, who is like Tony Khan trying to grow his own Will Ospreay in a pot of soil. And I do love him.
That's
and
Kyle Fletcher. He's already like 3/4 of the way grown, man.
He grew two at the same time. One got more sun than the other.
Yeah.
And but actually Andretti played the Shelton Benjamin tonight because they did the Shelton Shawn spot near the end of that match.
Yes,
Springboard
they
into
did.
the super kick.
Shout.
Lovely stuff. Absolutely the right guy won in Lee Johnson. And they even talk about, oh, he should be maybe getting a title shot soon. Yes, he should. We shouldn't be talking about randos on the indie scene getting proving ground matches. It should be Lee. Like, Lee should be in the mix now. And if that match doesn't put him over the top, I don't know what else he needs to do.
Agreed. And also, where is our champion? I would love to know. We have literally not seen Mark Briscoe since he won. If he's doing dad stuff, that's awesome. But kind of promo, anything, man. Anything. Oh, man. But we move on to our main event. This was fun because we got some hometown reaction for the Bollywood boys showing up here and the premier athletes, Ariya Daivari and Tony Nese. I continue to put Josh Woods on the side of a milk carton.
Where is he? Is he injured?
He's what I don't know. I should ask Sean that actually, because he's been a notable absence. He was doing really cool stuff in the Pure Picture, and then the Pure Picture disappeared entirely. But they did these cool vignettes where they brought all three of these guys back. And then twice now we've had tag matches without Josh Woods and with Daivari and Nese. So I just think the world of Josh Woods. I think he's one of the most complete wrestlers that I've ever seen in my life. Like, the technical beast is such a perfect name for him. And that's why it was such a fun flavor for the Pure division is he is very technical, but he's a big dude. And so he just moved different than everybody in the Pure division. But this match was fun. I was very happy to see the Bollywood boys back in action. I always felt like they were drastically underrated in the role that they played when they were in WWE. And they know how to move. They know how to sell. This was good. This was good. So happy to see them here. You get A fun ending to this, with the Bollywood boys being dragged into the ring and dished out some punishment until the infantry comes down to the ring with chairs to even things out. The premier athletes are chased out of here, and you get a nice moment with the infantry and the Bollywood boys standing tall. But this match was all sorts of fun. This was a really good showing for the Bollywood boys. They know how to sell the hell out of stuff for people like Daivari and Nese. A lot of hot tags in here that were fun. Some smart isolating from Tony Nese, taking the brothers apart from each other, which is always such a heartbreaking spot when they're related. But this was fun. I had no problem with this. I like when you get a hometown pop. I love the Bollywood boys. I think this is awesome that they were there. What did you think of our final match of the night?
Bollywood boys
to last. Sorry.
I was gonna say I didn't want to correct you, Kate. I thought I dreamed the final match, but that's fine. I know we're in a rush, but let's.
You can correct the other Kates.
I will, and the Katies.
Just be like other Kates. There's another match to talk about.
There are no other Kates.
Oh.
Bollywood boys are the alumnus of Mosscrop Secondary School, by the way, in their hometown, which is the same school that Ian James Corlett went to, who was the voice of adult Goku in Dragon Ball Z in the 90s. Just wanted to chuck that in there.
What fun facts you've arrived with tonight. I love that.
Big shout to comms who say the Bang Bang Gang are on the prowl. They could be looking at these lads for a trios match. No, they won't. They're in Ring of Honor. Great move by Nese at the end. Very unpopular result because they're the hometown heroes. But infantry look great.
Yeah.
Just a force of nature, those boys are. And I mean, again, get them in there with the kingdom again. Let's do that. But in the meantime, Premier Athlete to the infantry, nice gimmicky match for the pay-per-view. There's a story there. Let's tell some stories in the tag division.
Let's tell some stories in the tag division, indeed. Let's also bring back stakes to these matches. For
title implications of stakes.
That would be neat. That would be neat. If the people that worked there had title implications on their matches. Would be cool. But we get a quick vignette. Speaking of Proving Ground matches, that we've got Dalton Castle versus Kyle Fletcher next week, and not a Proving Ground match, just a straight up title shot. So explain that to me. Dalton Castle doesn't have to prove his ground, but everybody else does. He just walks in and gets a title shot, which makes no sense. But happy to see Dalton Castle return. Ever since the boys got stripped, we haven't really seen him around all that much. So very happy to see him. He's such a shot in the arm to the product. No denying that. He has been an absolute pillar of this era of Ring of Honor and of previous eras as well. But any thoughts on that? I was just happy to see that Dalton's return.
Yeah, just like you say, happy that we're getting a title match on Ring of Honor TV next week. And Dalton Castle is, like you say, he's a throwback to the era before. There isn't many of those. It's him and Mark Briscoe and maybe a couple of others. So he is a throwback, and I'd like the idea of making him TV champion. I'll be honest with you. I think he could carry that belt magnificently if you give him the chance to.
I think so too. I thought for sure that was what we were going to get before Kyle Fletcher won. Like I thought that was the direction we were headed. They ended up making such magic out of the stuff with him and Johnny TV though. So can't tell me that was the wrong decision for him, because man, oh man, that was a blast. But we move along to what was actually our last match of the night, our main event, which was Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin versus the Workhorsemen, JD Drake and Anthony Henry. Still very happy to see him back, man. I was so heartbroken when he was injured and let go. They immediately decided to rectify that, which makes me very, very happy, because he offers something so special, and so does JD Drake. And working together or separate, like I just feel like there's a lot of magic to be had with that. So very happy that they're back. You have Henry and Darius starting things off with some quick exchanges in this that were fun, because Darius is Darius and Anthony Henry's a hard-hitting son of a bitch. So this was very, very fun. And then you have Drake entering, kind of no-selling some chops, which I love, because JD Drake is the guy with chops on this brand. Holy crap, Daphne, calm down. But you get an amazing backflip off
Daphne's
the back.
her other personality, by the way. It's not a dog.
It's one of these 3 Kates that you have
Yeah.
on here, okay? You never know who I'm talking to. But some more good isolation spots in this from JD Drake, which is nice to see. You get a 2 count, no pin on this from the double stomp from Henry onto the back of Dante, but they keep it rolling. They keep it rolling through here. You have some attacking of Henry's surgically repaired jaw that looks great with some punches here, but Henry, the legal man, you get a side slam on Henry. Top Flight get the pin and the win in this. A really fun main event. Like probably my favorite match of the night on the card. And belonged in the main event spot. Again, more tag team action would be nice to have stakes. We were doing 4 corners matches like every 10 minutes before. So I don't know why we strayed away for those in favor of proving ground matches for people that aren't around, but I've got a lot of questions about ROH, Tom. What did you think of our main event for the night?
Riccaboni with the call of Drake, a Southern fried Bam Bam Bigelow. It was wonderful.
Phenomenal. He's so good, man.
And he was a real palate cleanser in this match. He was just a big beefy boy, but has got pace to him. I like when he bounced Darius off the ropes outside the ring, like showing that there's that strength that meshes well with that fast style. Darius got some blood in the mouth in that last quarter.
Looked like it, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see where he got that from, but hope he is all right. This is the return of the Workhorsemen because Anthony Henry got let go.
Right.
And then has been hired back on a per show deal, which is lovely to see. Welcome back, Workhorsemen. Can you lose to Top Flight? Yes, we can. Thank you very much. And the show ends, and that's the main event. And you realize hardly any mention of the Ring of Honor World Champion, Mark Briscoe. And I know we've talked about that a few times. We've talked about Mark Briscoe more than Ring of Honor talked about Mark Briscoe this week.
Yes, we have.
Really conspicuous by his absence. They gave us that somewhat hot-shotted Greek moment at Supercard of Honor, and then nothing. Shrouded in mystery. There needs to be something for Mark, and nothing wrong with a video promo or somebody calling him out, but nothing. It's like the Ring of Honor World title doesn't even exist at the moment. It's so strange.
It is really weird that, like, even if he's on paternity leave, that means the title is gone from the program too. Like that, there's no mention of a challenger. There's no contention build up. Like there's very few people in the men's singles division, just in general, because sometimes they're all in tag teams or trios. And then on top of that, like who feels like contenders for what titles is kind of lost on me, other than Lee Johnson. Like it feels like Lee Johnson is probably the way to go. We thank Sean for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated there. But Tom, it's like 4 a.m. your time. We made it. We're so happy that you came. Kate, also, thank you so much for being here. I can't say enough about your contributions to the show. And,
I think these are my favorite Kates tonight.
You know what? They might be my favorites too. But all I'm saying is you're talking to me right now, and we're talking ROH AEW. If you don't think they're going to attack you from behind when we try and leave this stream, you are in a rough spot. But we are joined by the beautiful Cresta. And Joel is here, so that's cool.
Hi, hello everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Joel, where are you? This is not your usual setup.
No, it's
What
not.
are you doing here?
I'm in a library, not a public one. I'm in the one in my building. So you get this tonight.
Hey, we're happy you made it. Is there something going on in your abode?
My mother is visiting. So she gets my office.
So you're hiding from her.
That, and she gets my office.
It's a dual purpose situation. Well,
he doesn't want his mom to see that he's a nerd talking about wrestling. So I too hide from my mother.
When are you going to get a proper job, Joel? May we never get proper jobs. May we never get proper jobs.
Let's
be wizards forever. Cheers to that.
Oh, Cresta, may we be wizards forever. That's
muggle jobs. Muggle wizard forever.
We love it.
So
we love it.
How was Ring of Honor tonight? Was it very honorable, or was there just a ring involved?
There was a ring involved.
There was a ring involved in every match.
Wow.
Some things were honorable, but the feud with the biggest heat on it right now is me and Tom. That's for sure.
That's
but
crazy.
we're
The biggest feud in the match right here.
Yeah, I think we might be feud of the year though, to be honest. So
Well, it's either me and you or me and Jeff Jarrett or maybe a combination of all of us together.
Triple threat with Jeff. I'll bring a guitar. Let's go.
Let's do it. Guitar
Let's rock
necklaces
and
for
roll.
everybody. It was a fair to middling show with Ring of Honor. Obviously, with TNA, one thing they do very well, which you guys are going to talk about, is celebrate their world champion. Something that Ring of Honor is not
Allergic
particularly good at
to.
doing right now.
I mean, our world champion right now is Musa.
Nah,
You
your
guys are the
world
hot
champion
topic
is
of the-
Jordan
you-
Grace.
I
Let's
was
get
gonna
real.
say our world
Yeah,
champion.
yeah,
is
that's,
Jordan
yeah,
Grace.
that's our world champion is Jordan Grace. You're right.
You guys are the must-watch this week.
Hey, what the heck, man? I brought you on here.
Oh, come on. Let's be honest. They are.
We thank Tom so much for being here.
No. Hold on.
That's crazy. This is shenanigans. I'm here for it tonight. The stunt shows and the shenanigans.
I like this
Absolutely.
guy. I like this Tom Campbell guy. Let's talk. Tom, would you like to stick around for the TNA post show so we could bury Kate for another few hours?
Do you know what,
It's
Joel?
4 a.m. his time.
One would salivate at such a thought to spend time with you two lovely people and talk about Kate, but it is nearly the morning and I have to be awake 3 hours ago. So I'm because that's time how it works, and it's Friday here, it's Thursday there, but I will be listening to you guys after you record on the Fightful podcast feed, as I am wont to do.
And will you leave a 5-star review?
I'll leave a 4-star review just to be awkward.
That's very
Four's my
awkward.
favorite number, so you're not being awkward. Just to spite Joel, I'm here for
Why
it.
is
Minus
4
1
your
star
favorite
for
number?
Kate.
4 is my favorite number. It's a dumb story, but long story long. Playing Monopoly as a kid, anytime I rolled a 4, it was up. So 4 just became my favorite number.
Love that for you. Love that for you.
Nice.
You know what we normally don't do in the handoff is plugs, but since you're an incredibly special guest,
Thank you. Oh,
we will
Tom.
do. Yeah, no, you guys can plug your own shit at the end. I don't care. But Tom, sincerely doing some incredible work. I am such a fan of what you've done. Not to me on Twitter, but the work that you continue to put out. I'll let you tell people where to find you and what you're up to these days.
Hi, I'm Tom Campbell from Cultaholic Wrestling on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. What's that? You like the things that Fightful report? Come see us. We aggregate it. We also
I'm clipping the shit out of that.
I'm sending that to Sean.
we also do classic review shows of we do the Cultaholic Classic Raw, SmackDown, and Nitro review. We're watching every single episode of all those from the beginning until the bitter end or hours. We do top 10 lists, we do countdowns, we do worst to best, we do documentary pieces, all on our YouTube channel with a wonderful cast of characters from right here in sunny old United Kingdom, the home of AEW All In and the home of Kate's resting place, Wembley Way, around All In weekend. I'm at Tom Campbell on Twitter. I'm doing the Great North Run, which is the world's greatest half marathon in September, raising money for Calm, the campaign against living miserably, who look after people and support them when the hour is particularly dark. And if you want to support that, find me on Twitter. I'm banging on about it all the time, at Tom Campbell on Twitter. And call Jeff Jarrett an arsehole when you get a chance. He loves that sort of thing. Thank you for having me, Kate. It has been an honor and a privilege to have me here. And it's been lovely to be a part of the
Shake
show.
my hand. Honor is real.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Tom. Don't do it, Tom.
Which way is it that way?
Don't do either way. It's bad.
Tom, you're my favorite now. You are so funny, but stop being mean. Stop menacing Kate. Oh,
Kate's
and that's just what happens sometimes.
And that's how we hand off the show, ladies.
Honor is real around here. You don't deny me a handshake and live to tell about it. Guys, follow Tom and support his run for mental health sincerely. He's doing some really cool stuff. But we are big supporters of mental health here at Fightful. We appreciate what Tom is doing and everything he's bringing to the space. And also, I kept you up till 4 a.m., Tom. The feud continues.
He's going to keep her up till 5, I guess. Is that what happens next?
Listen, I don't know how the internet or wrestling works. I only get on here to spread disinformation and lies and eat hot chip.
We're going to have a sleepover. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to get over. What are we doing here? What is this?
I don't know. What the hell are we doing here?
I don't know.
We don't belong here.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Okay, Tom, Kate's gone. Okay, now say something mean about Kate. Now's your chance.
Well, she's not gone because she's here.
Well, yeah, but she's not. The 4 thing, she ain't there. It's just the 3 of us now.
Okay. All right.
So this is your chance.
There's a rumor going round, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You know when you're trying to open a carton of milk, right? And you sometimes get that carton of milk that you try and take the little plastic bit off, but it doesn't quite open. And so therefore you're having to like really rip the carton apart in order to get the milk out.
Yeah.
Kate does that.
Oh God.
Kate does that.
So
you know what?
Saying,
that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all.
You're saying that Kate also eats Kit Kats like this?
The long way.
I've seen Kate eating Kit Kats the long way, and it's quite frankly terrifying.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tom, I bid you a good night.
Have a lovely show, you both. Love you. Bye.
Take care.
Nice beating you, Tom. I'm tickled pink. He's quite funny.
It's pretty good. What is this Radiohead? What are you people doing?
Oh, no. I was singing Creep by Smashing Pumpkins. I'm like, well, that's definitely Radiohead.
No, you don't know the bit. You got to watch In the Weeds. You got to watch In the Weeds Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Yep, sorry. You just don't know. Hi, Cresta Star. How are you?
As you can guess, I still don't have any headphones. We're doing the toggle, the mute thing. We're working on it. I'm doing swell. I'm doing fantastic. I did my first week at my wizard job, and now I'm wizard, double fist and wizard. Wait, you can't say that.
Nope, not you. I mean, Kate can probably get away with it, but I don't think you can.
You know what? Well, I've said it. And there's going to be a gif of this. I already know it.
Oh, yeah. God, someone's already clipped it. It's over. This is the most clippable crossover we've ever had.
True. Honestly, that crossover, top tier. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I was tickled. I was sports entertained.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Were you sports entertained tonight on Impact?
Yes. Why, yes. I thought about lying and saying no just to be like a contrarian, but I was sports entertained. I'm not going to lie.
Listen, we got to talk about it. I'm here in a library location, and I got to get out of here. So shall we? Let's get to it. And a 1 and a 2. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. I'm Natural Pearl, and it's May the 30th. It's time for your TNA Impact post show. I'm being quiet because tonight I'm in a library. Not a public library, but a library that is in my building. And so I'm trying to make sure people don't, wake up and get annoyed with me. Anyway, Cresta Star is here as she always is. Hello, Cresta Star. I was about to say good morning. I feel like it's the morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. When you said I'm in the library, I could think of was Chelsea Green.
Oh yeah, just former Impact star, knockout star, Chelsea Green. That's right.
Chelsea Green, who went through some tables with Deonna Purrazzo. Chelsea Green.
The best. Anyway, listen, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. TNA Impact was a show. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think it was the best show they've ever done, but I think there was a good amount of storyline development heading into Against All Odds. The big story right now in TNA is the fact that Jordynne Grace is really the champion of champions in TNA. So why not play with that? Let's dive right into that, shall we? She's not on the show tonight, at least not in front of the fans. Instead, we get a little bit of a look back to her NXT segment. She's coming out. She's going to be challenging Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT Battleground on June the 9th? That's coming up. And also, we're going to make it a little bit more interesting. At Against All Odds, Jordynne Grace has said that she's going to be having an open challenge. She said so much on Busted Open recently. So, first of all, your thoughts Tuesday night, Jordynne Grace arrives on NXT, and let's talk about the impending TNA WWE NXT partnership?
I haven't had to threaten anyone besides Tony Khan in a very long time, so I'm ready for this. When I tell you if Jordynne Grace loses to Roxanne Perez, there will be hellfire to pay. I will find every one of you and go to your house and steal your left shoe, steal your left socks, and then throw them in the river. Okay? This is juicy. This is sports entertainment. Not the forbidden door, but the sequestered corridor, if you will. I'm here for it. If Jordynne Grace does not win every match, I will walk to Connecticut personally and be like, Mr. Hickenbottom and Hunter, I just want to talk. Just come outside, make sure you don't wear your jacket. I just want to talk. This is good. This is big brain plays. And I love the crossover. I could see a lot of crossover, but not at the expense of I'm so serious. I love wrestling, and I will do nothing. I will do nothing but complain on Twitter, realistically speaking. I'm just going to complain, but this is my empty threat.
Shaking her fists in the air.
Yeah, for those who are on the audio form, I was shaking my fists.
By the way, audio listeners, if you haven't already, leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. That gets us a little bit closer to your friends and the besties seeing that this is the place to be. This is where you want your post-show and your wrestling content here at Fightful. So go ahead, drop a 5-star review audio-wise. And of course, if you're watching us live on youtube.com, why haven't you dropped that thumbs up yet? You should be. And subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to us at youtube.com/Fightful. We'll talk about Fightful Select in a little bit if you want to support us in other ways, maybe with your wallets. You can also do so by leaving a super chat. Any man get your question or statement read on the air. And of course, humperchats.com. Cresta star, tell them why, how, when, and where.
Go ahead and take your fingers and type in humperchats.com. That's humperchat.com. You put your comments in there. You put your dollar amount in there. We get to keep a little bit more of the proceeds. We'll read your comment loud on air, and we'll have us a funky good time. Humperchats.com. Phone, computer. We accept EBTs, your child, your liver, but no kidneys, because the last one we got just didn't work.
You gotta get extra kidneys. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but not if you've been drinking. So like only no kidneys for right now.
Pristine kidneys.
Pristine kidneys.
Pristine. Humperchats.com. Pristine kidneys. That's how we work here. By the way, if you're in the chat or maybe you're watching after the fact, when you drop a comment, tell us your dream forbidden door. I'm talking TNA, WWE, the prohibited portal.
Sequestered corridor.
Sequestered corridor. Tell us what those dream matches are. Drop that in the comments. Let us know, not just in the live chat, but also after the fact, once we're off the air, once you're watching the after fact. I know some people are after that Steve Maclin versus Steve Cutler gimmick. We'll do that a little bit later. This is a little Karate Man Ethan Page gimmick, but that's a later fact. Let's dive right in. TNA Impact May 30th. We open up Chris Bay versus Ace Austin. The ABC explodes. Well, not exactly. They had a match against each other because, they need to fight.
I like what you said. They had a match. Because, okay, let me tell you what I liked about this match. I like the concept of it. You guys need to blow off steam, but there was no steam. I tried to get into maybe there was ring psychology that I was missing because I'm a jabroni. Maybe it's me. So it started off slow. People started getting respectful. And then Ace Austin was disrespectful. However, for this being, I guess, like a feud or I guess a blow-off match, there wasn't much steam. And at the end, I was waiting for Quadzilla Mr. Ace Austin himself to turn on Chris Bay. The chops were really stiff towards the end. That's what the match really picked up. But I don't know. I was expecting just a touch more, but I do appreciate that it started the seeds of dissension because Ace Austin is absolutely turning on him. I was looking at the TNA chat and people are like, oh, well, Chris Bay turns on him and goes to first class. No, they do not want.
That is an interesting idea. I wasn't paying attention to the TNA chat. I usually close that and work on other things, but it's an interesting concept. I did notice at the end of the match, by the way, Chris Bay did get the win on Ace Austin. They did they went for the fold misses, Bay hits the cutter, the art of finesse gets turned around, and then there's counter pins, and then Bay gets a crucifix pin on Quadzilla, gets the win. They show that mutual respect, and I respect it, and they get out of the ring, and then the last minute, they didn't really pay attention to it, but Bay just kind of looks untrusting of Ace Austin. There's kind of like a little look there. And I saw that and I was like, okay, commentary doesn't draw attention to it. Therefore, it's either not important now or it will be later. So I just wanted your thoughts. Is this going to be a breakup of ABC, or is this just they're going to fight and then they're just going to keep moving?
I think, unfortunately, we are going to see the breakup of ABC. Not right now, a very slow burn. I do think that they're, as a tag team, I don't know what there is more for them to do. Realistically speaking, that's just me. I like them together as a team. But what do we do next with them? Have them win the tag titles again? You know what I mean? I'm thinking ahead 2 months, 4 months from now. You know, you're going to have to bring in all of these guys. And it looks like we're, what was it? The portal passageway or whatever the heck we were saying?
Prohibited portal.
Prohibited portal might be a thing to reinvigorate the tag division. I think these two are a great tag team. However, I do think it might be time for them to, you know, maybe have Ace Austin and Chris Bay go after the world title or an X division. Both of them versus Ali would be a banger. You know, I don't know. I don't want them to break up. However, I can understand why they would. Joel Pearl, do you agree?
I mostly agree. I don't think it's time to break them up, but I do think that we're getting closer to the singles run for both men. And I'm ready for that. But also, TNA's got to refocus their tag division. We talked about it last week. Sinner and Saint come in. They have their match. They're a team worth looking at, but they've got to start rebuilding. The Nemeths aren't going to be the answer. There has to be more tag teams in TNA to build off of ABC's departure. I mean, split. They're not going anywhere. But if they split up, they got to do something to rebuild the tag division.
I agree. And I don't think that Adina's 2.0 is going to be the way to go. However, I understand why you would want to keep Jake something away from the main event scene right now, currently. I could understand that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, Xia Brookside takes on Steph DeLander. Really, the match was just back and forth until Steph goes under the ring, grabs a chair, pulls the chair out along with PCO. Xia flies into PCO's arms. Steph's upset. She wants to do it on her own. PCO gets inadvertently involved. Steph DeLander gets rolled up by Xia Brookside. Xia Brookside gets the win. Post-match, PCO presents her with a Valentine. But apparently it's his heart. We're getting closer to it. Cresta, it's a wedding. Call your friends. Book the nicest, limo you can get. And just get them ready for the wedding. PCO's getting married in Montreal at Slammiversary. It's happening. And this is the best mime sequence in all of wrestling.
I want you to see my notes that literally the first note is, I smell a PCO finish. And when it happened, I literally wrote, oh, look, it's PCO. It's almost like I predicted.
It's happening, man.
You are going to get me kicking and screaming until this altar, because I know I will say this every week until it happens. I know when this happens, I'm going to be sports entertained, but until such time, I'm pissed. I don't know if I'm fake pissed or if I'm real pissed, because this was unnecessary. I thought Xia Brookside was trying to sell Steph DeLander, was beating her up, and I'm like, girl, pull the chair, piece it off. I don't know how to feel. I'm kicking and screaming until the wedding happens. I don't want to be here. This is stupid. I hate this family.
Now, hold on. I got to bring this. This isn't a super chat, but I got to bring. TNA already had the most epic wrestling wedding ever. Now, you have two options.
Somebody got shot at that wedding.
Yes, Billy. Are we talking about the one where someone got shot, or the one where the love triangle ended with Ali basically getting her man? Like, what is this, the Pepper Parks wedding, or is this the Rosemary wedding? Like, what, come on, is this the Johnny Bravo wedding? Come on.
Yo, that means at this point it's getting weird. So Gresham got to officiate it and spit out the black. This is getting weird, ladies and gentlemen.
Sami's gonna be the official. Oh, let's go. You can't top wrestling weddings. You can't. But every time they're going to try. And as long as Tommy Dreamer's out there going, no, I can't yell because I'm in a public space. But as long as Tommy Dreamer's there, the wedding is great. The wedding is perfect. We're gonna do
Somebody
PCO.
has to get their head cut off. Because like at this point, I've seen someone get stabbed to death on TNA television. Someone get shot on TNA television. Taya walked into a closet and never came back out on TV. So what's next? What's that? Everyone gets bit every week. So you gotta up the ante. At this point, you literally have to jump a shark.
Listen, here's the reality of it. If he can go by the time Slammiversary comes around, if anyone has a reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace. Matt Cardona comes out. And Cardona, no, Steph, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, you're being brainwashed. And then we go back to what was supposed to be Cardona PCO. By the way, Matt Cardona is going to be on In the Weeds at 10:30 a.m. on Friday morning. That's tomorrow if you're watching us live. And maybe someone will ask him about it. It won't be me because I won't be on the show, but I will send the question to be asked on my behalf.
I love TNA, man. This is, oh man, I'm listening to you. I'm also reading the chat. Someone said Mickey James got hit by trains.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, and she was fine after that.
Dixie Carter went through a table.
She was fine.
What are y'all doing down there?
I don't know why y'all don't watch TNA. I'm just telling you. It's always the best.
TNA is truly, honestly, I can describe WWE and AEW to somebody. I cannot describe TNA besides, please just watch this.
Just watch it. Just watch it and understand that nothing is serious. And that's what makes it TNA. That's why we watch it. It's not serious. It's perfect.
And they have the perfect pay-per-views called Hard to Kill, because that's them. Sacrifice, because that's them.
Because that's them. We got a super chat from King Reezy saying there's not much in TNA, but it won't hurt to send ABC to AAA or to New Japan Pro Wrestling to accomplish some tag team titles. Listen, I'm for it. They don't really have the partnership right now, but if there is one down the future, I would love to see ABC get a little excursion time.
I agree with that. I wouldn't mind seeing them. I feel like they were in New Japan before for a tag tournament. If I'm not mistaken, when they first joined up as a team, when it was them versus Motor City Machine Guns. So seeing them in AAA would be cute, or CMLL would also be cute. Seeing them in Mexico and period would be cute. So I think it's a stiff but a different style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely know what you mean. Listen, let's move on. We talked about the Jordynne Grace stuff. She's going to be on NXT. She's going to have a match against Stevie Tyler. That's going to be a fun one. And again, Stevie Turner. She was Bobby Tyler in the UK. My brain doesn't work at this hour. The Busted Open Challenge against all odds. Who's going to come out? Is it going to be an NXT star for Jordynne Grace at Against All Odds? What do you think?
I'm thinking if we're doing it, hold on, I have to burp and I don't want to do that.
That's fine. While you do that, I do want to point out, yes, there is a partnership with TNA and AAA. The New Japan one is fine, but it hasn't been as a focus. So you're right. You could do ABC in AAA. But anyway, point is, Jordynne Grace against all odds. Who's the match?
I think that in my mind, Jordynne Grace beats Roxanne, and Roxanne comes back to try to get her lick back at least. I think Roxanne is a phenomenal talent even before she got signed to NXT. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I said this on Twitter, but a Jade Cargill, come on. I want all the muscle mommies to fight. Please, muscle mommy supremacy. I need this for science, for research and respect purposes, okay? Get your guys' minds out the gutter. I don't know. There's two, like, do you have a main roster person? Is that a bridge too far? But then you have to have Jordynne win. Do you do an NXT girly? Who? Lyra Valkyria? I think that's the girl who just fought Nia Jax, because that girl's brawlic as hell too. But whoever fights Jordynne Grace, that's a tall order, bro. Like, the only one who can fight Jordynne Grace is Deanna Pratt. I don't care.
So people in the chat are mentioning Natty, Natalia. I don't hate that. It feels like it's going to be an NXT star that they move over. This partnership, Jeremy Lambert and I talked about it on In the Weeds, and it feels like the way that it's going to work is mostly based on NXT. And that's okay. Like, WWE main roster have their own shtick going on. Let NXT and TNA do their mix-up. It's good for both sides. That being said, that women's roster in NXT is deep, and you have options. I'm still waiting for the Ariana Grace cameo where she speaks to Santino, because if you know, you know. And I want them to not even mention the fact that they know each other, but make every single reference to the family that they're part of.
I can get jiggy with that. But again, my only caveat here, and I agree with you that it's something they're going to work around NXT, but Jordynne Grace is like literally your TNA champion. I'm not saying she should go in and squash all them NXT girls. That's not what I'm saying. Because like, I'm not too familiar with NXT, the current product. I'll be fully transparent.
Wow.
But I'm
Big
such a
fan, Cresta star. My God.
I mean, if you ask some people, I am an AI generated by Sean Ross Sapp to get views. So if you ask some people, but I don't know. I don't know how you do this. I'm very intrigued. Like I would love to see, even if it's an AEW person, like, oh, so we really mixing it up and testing the waters. I think this is an exciting time, no matter who it is, to be a wrestling fan, because we can do this all night long. I don't know who would realistically, in my humble opinion, who would realistically be a challenge where I'm like, all right, Jordynne, you got your work cut out. Only person I could think of is Lash Legend, but I don't know.
I was about to say Lash.
I don't know how she wrestles. I don't watch. I'm thinking of the height difference. She looks like she's mad swole.
That's the thing.
I've seen her promo where like I just don't know how she wrestles to make an educated decision on that. But I want to see what would transpire during that match.
So that's the thing. I was going to bring up Lash Legend kind of as like a half jokey troll, but also like everything you just said is exactly why I brought her up, or why I wanted to bring her up, because she is much bigger than Jordynne Grace, but she's in great, she looks good. She's in great shape. She's improved immensely in the ring. I could also see it being Lola Vice, because if Lola gets the victory at Battleground, they could probably set up Lola Vice versus Jordynne Grace. It's a match worth having, and Lola could lose the match, and that's it. It could be as easy as that.
I'm also thinking about women on that card who could lose the match. Even a Tiffany Stratton could lose that match. She would be fine. That would be a banger. I've seen Tiffany Stratton. That young lady can wrestle. That's the PG that she can wrestle. So I would be interested in that. Even no, never mind. I retract the statement I was going to say.
Okay, then. You ready to move on from there?
Yes.
Khan something and Diener. Khan's looking for Santino, of course, and then he finds Jake something and Cody Diener. Diener breaks them up from fighting and says, hey, you do it another time, not here. They set it up. It's going to be next week is Jake something versus Big Khan. And Khan tells Jake something, don't listen to Diener. I used to be part of his group. I learned not to listen to him, blah, blah, blah. I loved that they connected these two guys with Diener. I was a big fan of the fact that they did a callback to the design, and they just enhanced the something and Diener storyline. What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. When Khan told him I used to follow him, all I could think of is, something. He's right, but also think about when he joined Violent by Design. You were his first victim, bro. I mean, I get Diener's trying to change, but this was a nice little bow. I think it's great. I think the Dieners would be a cute thing to get together, but no. That's my answer, but no, not now. Maybe, like I said, like I was saying before, if we want to keep something away from the main event scene, which I can respect, I can understand. There's a lot going on in the main event scene. Put him in the tag division to keep him also away from the X division title and Ali, who's going to campaign, and he's got speedball. There's a lot going on everywhere. I think the tag division would be a great place for him if he wants to, but I don't know with Diener. But that would be something like you could beat the good hands, but if you beat the Dieners, they're breaking up. You know what I mean? Like it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a Humper chat actually from Patrick Moore saying, I'm new to TNA fandom. Xia Brookside versus Anna Jay would be my forbidden portal. Thanks for helping me be a less dumber fan. Well, there are no dumb fans. There are just people who listen to us and get a lot smarter because of it, I hope. No, but seriously, what do you think? Anna Jay versus Xia Brookside? It's more of I guess, I don't know. Do you count Anna Jay as AEW or Ring of Honor at this point? Regardless, it's not a WWE and TNA match, but Xia Brookside and Anna Jay is it's a perfectly serviceable match.
I agree with that. And I will also echo with what Joel said. There are no dumb wrestling fans, no matter what the internet wrestling community will tell you. Okay? There are dumb opinions, but there are no dumb fans. We just have different opinions. Also, Zaya Brookside versus Anna Jay would be cute because I know Anna Jay does have a mean, stiff streak to her. And Zaya Brookside has technical wrestling in her back pocket, but she's more of a flippy-do kind of girl, if you will. So that would be cute. I could see that going really well. Ty Conti versus Zaya Brookside, whenever she comes back from maternity, would be really cute as well.
I like that idea. Let's look to that. Let's also look at Jonathan Gresham versus Sami Callihan. Buddy. Everything here was perfect for every wrong reason. Frank Gastineau now wears the mask and the gloves. Raywalt's like, Callihan lives in squalor, so he's fine for a match like this. And I'm saying that
the same.
It's everything we talked about last week. This is perfect for Sami. He loves it. Instead, listen, Gresham wins the match. He gets the low blow after putting the ink on Sami's hand. And Sami's like, oh, what's this? First of all, I got a question. Like, if Sami sees the ink, is he like, I can't do thumbs up, thumbs down now? What was why?
I want to make an anime reference, but I feel like any anime reference I make, you don't watch anime.
No stupid fans, though.
All right, so this is not for Joel Pearl. He got the curse of Orochimaru, so he couldn't move. If you've ever seen Yuasha, he had the soul sucking, the black hole in his hand, so he couldn't move. I also was a little confused by that because you knew what was coming. That's why you covered his mouth. So then why are you surprised when there's Tajiri spawn in your hand? I don't.
Listen, the match was fine.
I laughed. I was sports entertained this match. My first note literally was, to be fair, Sami was spawned from a septic tank, so I think he might be fine.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It did one thing, and that was accomplish that Jonathan Gresham's new character is being treated seriously. It is a little bit dumb, in my opinion, to have, referees are going to wear masks and gloves from now on. I would have just given that same referee the assignment every single time, the weird out-of-place referee, and just like cough up ink, whatever. It would have been fine. Instead, they're trying to integrate the other referees. I hope that they don't make it a full-on story with the other refs, but for what it was, Callihan is like, all right, I can face the Ink Man, and the Ink Man won by kicking him in the dick.
I mean, there are 3 devastating moves in wrestling, and that's number 1, dick kick and the surprise roll up.
It's true.
Oh, and the third one is the yam bag shuffle off the top rope. So 2 of them are dick punts. So,
and we saw 2 of them tonight. So really, who's winning? Anyway, Gail Kim's with Gisele Shaw. This is a good little interview segment. They're sitting across at a table. They're kind of doing it podcast style. It's an exclusive interview because Giselle's comfortable with Gail Kim and so on and so forth. We basically get a follow-up, right? Gisele Shaw lost the match at No Surrender for the Knockouts World Championship. She had injuries. She took some time away. And then she calls TNA her home and says the Chantourage dissolved and now she was losing big matches. And so she has to find her start again. And she's got to figure out what she's fighting for. Gail Kim is like, don't be the quintessential diva, be a knockout, and that's going to start next week. And buddy, if we are not doing Gail Kim versus Gisele Shaw to find out who the knockout is, what are we doing here?
I think we take the long road there.
Please.
I do see Gisele Shaw being coached by Gail Kim, maybe even tagging with her till she gets to the point where she's like, I am a knockout, but I am also the quintessential diva. I can be both. And in order for me to be both, I got to fight you, Gail. No shade.
I am the quintessential knockout.
Yes. And in order to do that, I have to kill you. Like, there can only be one Highlander. Please tell me you've seen that.
This is the end for Gail Kim. This is the handoff that Gail should want to have. Because Gisele Shaw has been so good with TNA for the last few years. Again, we remind people often that when we started doing this show, we were not her biggest fans. But over the course of the years, we've seen Gisele Shaw improve on the microphone, in the ring, as a performer, as a character. It's there. And it's time to really prove that she is worth putting that quintessential knockout moniker on and working with her.
I agree with that. I think I agree. I want to try to find the right words to say everything Joel Pearl has said is 100%. In the beginning, we were like, she needs a little this, she needs a little that. And now I think she's right up there in the contention with a Masha, with a Killer Kell. Hell, even with the Jordan Grace. She could be in your main, like, she could be your TNA knockout champion. Absolutely believable. Not even blinking an eye. I know she could do it. I know she could do it. And I'm so happy for her. And I think if this is where we're going and she retires Gail Kim for good, because I heard she's retired before, but who knows? I think it'll be a good match. It might be a slobber knocker, you know what I mean? But it'll also force people who don't have respect for Gisele Shaw, which I don't know how. If you're not watching her matches, I could understand because you're not thinking. But if you're watching her matches, you're gonna see this and be like, okay, she's really her. So Gisele Shaw's been her, will always be her. Get it together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this returning Gisele Shaw. She's going to be in the ring next week. We'll go down the list because next week is actually the 20th anniversary Impact show. We'll get to that in a minute. The System are backstage with Gia Miller. So remember last week we talked about how the segment that they did with Joe Hendry was really well shot, but they were having problems with their static camera, with their main camera. It was obviously fixed this time around, and they brought it back. I like that this is a little extra production technique that only happens in system interviews where they have a second camera shooting another angle. I was a really big fan of that. Moose runs off to go find Matt Hardy, and really the point of this is that the system are like, we're going to beat Joe Hendry tonight. Eddie Edwards is the best, yada, yada. And then Frankie Kazarian walks into the shot, and he's like, say my name. Who am I? And Gia's like, you're Frankie Kazarian. He's like, no, say my name. Normally that would be Joe Hendry's turn, but instead Gia's like, yeah, you're the king of TNA. This is Josh Alexander versus Frankie Kazarian, but also give me King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary.
I will give you King of the Mountain match, but I do not like bullying Gia Miller for no. He's been bullying the ring announce. He bullied Jade last week. He's bullying Gia this week. Listen, I get that you're having a midlife crisis, Unc, but that ain't.
He has to come out and bully Gabby Laspisa, and then the following week he's got to come out and he's got to bully Sam Laterna, and then after that, Christy Hemme comes in just for 1 week, and he bullies Christy. He just needs to bully all the women who have ever been an interviewer backstage at TNA. Kazarian, he needs to bring his wife back. So happy
just to bully
you.
her.
Honey, I'm so happy you're in the TNA Hall of Fame. You're amazing. I love you. What's my name? And when she says Frankie Kazarian, he's like, yes, but also, what's my name? And then she just rattles off every weird nickname they actually have for each other as a couple. And then eventually he's like, no, baby, say my actual nickname. And then she's like, oh, like King of TNA.
If you
Did you mute yourself? Did you fully just mute yourself and start talking again?
Sure did, because I'm smarter than the average bear.
Smarter than the average wrestling fan.
There's no stupid wrestling fan. Stupid. That was a bad share impression.
Bring back Goldilocks. Do the same thing,
bro. I feel like at this point, if you keep saying his name, you have to start a feud with Joe Hendry at this point. Like at this point, Joe Hendry's like, I've been ignoring you for weeks, okay? And you keep calling me out. What's T? Okay, no one calls you the king because you're not. All right, stop calling me out. And then they have a feud. I just want more Joe Hendry on my screen.
We got plenty of him. Let's move along. Maclin versus Santana 2 ends in a no contest. It was a good match. It was a fun match. My God, Macklin's busting out more stuff. And this is something that he and I talked about in our interview back in January, where he's like, but I'm a heel. And I was like, TFB, start doing more moves. I was like, watch the interview. You'll see. He does the cactus elbow from the apron to the floor. It looks good. He does oh my God, he almost spikes Santana doing Mayhem for All. It looks scary. Luckily, it's okay. Everyone's fine. The match is really good. They need to get a definitive winner in this feud but it looks like we're going to divert because the Rascals come out, they attack Maclin, they attack Santana. Where are we at? What do you think of the match? And of course, what do you think of the Rascals getting involved with both men?
I will say that I am such a hypocrite. I am thoroughly enjoying Steve Maclin in this tweener. This is peak. Cause he did listen, if anyone who does the Samoa Joe, Kenny Omega, why would I stand there? In the beginning of the match, Mike Santana's about to go run and dive out. He's like, I'm right. I don't got time for that. You do that, somebody else, you're not doing it with me. I was like, damn it, this guy's good. Damn it, son of a bitch. He's so good. He's so good. You got me, gal. You got me. I don't care. I'm a flip-flop. I'm a hypocrite. Sorry.
Wow.
I saw somebody say it.
I see it.
This match is fine. We are going to have a tag team with these two, and that's going to be sports entertainment. Because just as a fan, these two do not like each other. These two do not like each other. And Maclin is known for walking out of matches. So how you gonna walk out of a match that I'm dragged into because of your beef? I don't even like these guys either because first of all, I'll beat you up, mind your business. So now I gotta tag with this guy that I already want to beat up. If I'm Mike Santana, I'm angry. Everybody getting beat up. I'm pulling the Scott Steiner, everybody's chances drastic go down. I'm beating up everybody.
Mike Santana was on In the Weeds last Friday talking about a bunch of stuff, including TNA. He also did an interview with Sean Ross Sapp this past week. So Santana's been all over the couple of channels that we have here on Fightful. Check out those interviews. But him and Maclin seem to be tied together for better or worse, and that's good because they work well together, and then they complement each other, and then they beat the shit out of each other, and everything looks good. I like what we're doing. I like where it's going. I'm also, again, wondering, once they get past the Rascals, who's jockeying for which position? Obviously, world title. But, like, how far is it? How far is the world title for both men once their feud ends and once the Rascals feud ends? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's providing Josh Alexander ain't back. There's no Alex Hammerstone. Jake something's not in the main event scene. Ali doesn't cash in. There's so many variables right now.
The Hammerstone stuff is still very interesting to me.
I don't know what we do with him. Like, I don't know what we're doing with him. I feel like him and Jake something. I mean, there's a lot of big, meaty men in your heavyweight division. And in this one sense, I feel for TNA because that's a lot of meat to juggle, okay? Pun intended, okay? That's a lot. And I don't know how you do this. And again, you still have Mustafa Ali in the background with that Ultimate X Championship, and let someone like a Hammerstone or a PCO go after him, and he really like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm cashing it. A campaign switcheroo.
Oh, we'll talk about campaign sing in a few minutes. Dude, I love that name. Jody threats backstage with Lars Fredrickson. Okay. Lars is like, I'm going to give you some coaching advice. And I'm like, Lars Fredrickson was never a wrestler or a manager. Why does Lars give advice? Anyway, my feeling is Lars is going to absolutely break up these two because now he's got Danny Luna facing the same match that Jody Threat had. Great, wonderful.
I don't have any notes. I just wrote coaching because it didn't feel like coaching. It felt like he was just being mean.
I love Jody. I love Danny. I don't love whatever this is with Lars. I love that Jody is like over the moon working with Lars Fredrickson. I know that's a dream, but like other than that, I don't know why Lars Fredrickson is like managing this team. He has no official roots to wrestling.
I thought it was because of what like subculture stood for, like with the music and how each one of them were supposed to be a different form of like punk rock or metal or whatever it is. I get that he's trying to do like the beat 'em up Rocky, you just gotta protect your neck. I get it, but it's not translating for me, I guess. Yeah,
I get it. We'll see where it goes, but that was just this week. Mustafa Ali and Leon Slater. Let's get into that match real quick. Campaign Singh is officially part of the staff. The best name. He just dropped the H and we're back. We're back, baby. He does get involved, but I love that Ali is facing one Brit at Against All Odds. So what do? You slot him against a Brit for tonight in non-title action. Great match. Leon Slater is clearly a future star in this company. We know this. We've said this. We talk about it. Putting him in
19. That's crazy.
He's a kid who has so much potential and opportunity, and I love it. That being said, the match itself, go out of your way to watch it. There's a spot where this is the finish, is Ali swinging Slater's head around into the ring post and then hitting the 450, getting the win. That stuff was great. What do you think of the match overall?
This, if you were not sports entertained this entire wrestling program, this was the match. This was the match. This match was really good. That interesting offense with that face flattener combination where he pulled Leon Slater out from the top rope. I don't know what that was called, but I was sports entertained. That was so good. Also, that pop-up German from Ali, what the was that? I stares at WWE for fumbling the Ali bag. You're a clown for that, because this man, this is a fine wrestler. This is a fancy fine wrestler. And I got to see some graps, man. I sound like Reg. I got to see some graps. And this match was really good. And again, Leon Slater is 19. He is 19. This person is going to be a menace if they keep on keeping on. He's 19. He's 19, was toe for toe with Ali, not missing a step. Bro, he has a bright future.
Chad's asking, when is he going to win the X Division Championship? Honestly, keep building him like this, and you can have it by the end of the year. You can have it by Hard to Kill. They're slowly integrating him into the process, and I'm fine with that. I want the crowd to continue to get used to him, not just as a performer, but as a character. That's the one thing that I really hope they start working on, is the Leon Slater character. What do we want to get behind him for? Let's flesh that out, and then titles come. I'm a big fan of giving a title to a fleshed out character and not just someone who's a really good wrestler and that's all we know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I wouldn't even say that he would win it this year. I would say maybe next year, because I do agree with what you're saying. I think he has a lot of great in-ring potential, but there is still like, what are you? Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, Leon Slater is great, but he's not to say that they're the same person. That's not what I'm saying. So before you get all crazy, but Leon Slater, Kevin Knight, the X Division, right now, there's no difference. And I know who Kevin Knight is. He's part of the Time Splitters. He's got his own cool little thing. Leon Slater is an amazing wrestler. That's all I know about him. So I agree with Joel. I think the X Division right now is still really stacked. So he's fine where he is. And the X Division might be stacked until the end of the year, to be honest with you. Until Ali gets away from that title, it's going to be an issue.
You're right. And we might see Slater put into a tag team, Slater put into a grouping of people we don't know, which I wouldn't hate, because then it's a group of people working together as a character group. Again, I don't think that Slater should just be a man on an island going after whomever. Maybe it would be helpful to know who his friends are backstage and, in front of the camera, thing like that. Like, as we build his character, there's room there.
You could probably put him, I hate to say this, but if he wants to go heel, you could probably put him with First Class.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't be offensive. It wouldn't be offensive. I think it would give him an edge. You could see who he is, and he can either be like, actually, I'm not that much of a heel, and him versus Rich Swann would be real cute, and then him versus AJ Francis would be real cute, and then we can move him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I love the idea of First Class trying to get Leon Slater, and Slater just being like, nah, but I'll take you guys out. I'll take out Rich Swann. I'll take out former Impact World Champion. Like, there's space there to build Leon out of something like that. He is being courted by a group. We'll see where it goes. Next week's the 20th anniversary special. Impact's been on the air. I'm talking TNA Impact, the television show, will have been on the air for 20 years as of next week. They're doing Jordan Grace versus Allison Kay for the Knockouts Championship. Laredo Kid versus AJ Francis from First Class. That's for the Digital Media Championship. Gisele Shaw returns. Speedball Mountain takes on Ali and Campaign Singh. Great. And then Jake Something takes on Big Con. Campaign Singh is just the best stupid name ever.
It was really good. It's really good. I mean, he lost a lot of money in the casino, so he's no longer Champagne Sing. Now he Campaign Sing.
How do you think they thought of it? Do you think Champagne was just looking at the name and just being like, what if I just erase this letter? And I have an idea. And that's how we got here.
Honestly, I would love to believe in delusions and grandeur like that, but I have a feeling it's more like the Undertaker streak. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Hey!
We just stumbled upon it. Well, we stumbled upon our main event. Here we are. Edward Edwards takes on Joe Hendry. This match was important for one reason, and that was the finish. The match itself was really good. I will never take away from Edward Edwards as a performer or as a character, as someone who can get great heat, and Joe Hendry became further made tonight. All he had to do was two things. One, that finish where he takes the Boston Knee Party and turns it into a standing ovation, powers Edwards up into the standing ovation. Great stuff. That's one. Step two, after he gets the pin, I love commentary putting over the fact that Joe Hendry defeated a former world champion. That was fantastic. What did you think of Hendry and Edwards? And we got to be working something in with Hendry, right?
I am a Joe Hendry stan. So let's start there. And his birthday is the day after mine. We're practically in love, and it's a one-sided love. He doesn't know this, okay? Honestly, I was a little offended he didn't have a music video. However, I understand. We talked about if he's going to be more of a serious character rather than a gimmick, at some point you either save the music videos or you stop doing them. And while I don't like change, I understand why they did it. That finish, the way he caught Eddie Edwards' Boston Knee Party, which is already a stiff, bicycle knee, not really. It's a stiff knee strike. It's a stiff knee strike. He caught it into a stalling, standing ovation. I was like, oh, Joe Hendry's on one. Joe Hendry is on one. At this point, no shade. Moose beats Matt Hardy, but you got to lose to Joe Hendry. You got to lose to Joe Hendry. And I feel like you would be a fool, TNA, to not do something with Joe Hendry. Outside of wrestling, he is making so much conversation, so many waves. I don't mind using mainstream media to put eyes on a product, and he looks good. He wrestles great. He's funny. He's charismatic. He's got the talk. Bro, the look on Edwards' face alone after he lost to Joe Hendry, upset-a-row, bro. And you can't beat that. You've got a star. You've had a star. And now you're turning into something serious. At this point, again, full respect to Matthew Hardy, one with a great command of the English language and Old English included. But Moose got to beat him, and Joe Hendry got to beat him at this point. Because if you build up Joe Hendry to lose, I don't know where the headquarters for TNA, but I might take a walk there too after I go to NXT headquarters, okay? You know, I took a walk.
Let's talk about that final segment of the night. Moose finds Matt Hardy. Moose and Matt Hardy fight backstage, and they do the chair thing again. Matt Hardy gets taken out. Against all odds, main event is now in question. What did you think of this whole finishing segment? Is Matt Hardy out of the match, or is something else going to happen? What's going on with the against all odds main event now?
All I could think in my mind is, you can't break Matt Hardy because he's already broken. So what are you doing? What are you doing? What are we doing? The Nemeth brothers are out. Are we now shoehorning in Hendry? I would not do that so fast. You got a good thing going. I would not do that. I don't know. I don't think Matt is out of it. Again, you can't kill what is already dead like PCO, and Matt Hardy is already broken. Yes, everybody's broken. Yes, I get it. So I don't know. I want Matt Hardy to face Moose. I want Matt Hardy to give Moose hell. I want Moose to win barely. And then I want Joe Hendry to beat him up. I don't know if that's going to happen. They might put Joe Hendry and capitalize on the momentum right now, but I think it might be a little too soon. Maybe one more pay-per-view with Moose defending. That could just be my 2 cents.
I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Hardy takes a dip in the lake of reincarnation and comes back as Big Money Matt, and that's all we do just to get to the match.
Or Woken Matt Hardy. He could be Matt Facts. Matt Facts.
The Slammer Tornado Matt Facts. Maybe. We'll see. I'm curious because, I don't think they're pulling Matt. I don't know if they're going to pull Matt Hardy from this match, but right now the advertised main event is Moose versus Matt Hardy for the TNA World Championship. Do it now. Don't do it at Slammiversary. You have other matches to do at Slammiversary that are not this one. But I don't know. Maybe do you pull it out, or do you? Again, where does it go? I like that there's some intrigue here. I feel like there's just going to be the Matt Hardy shenanigans where he goes and takes a dip in the lake of reincarnation, and the boat's there, and Brother Nero, and Senor Benjamin, and there's the piano playing Rebby, all the bullshit. He'll do it, and it's fine. People will laugh and enjoy it, but he's just going to come out as Matt Hardy V1, and here we are, right?
I'm with it. I mean, and it's funny that you talk about this because I know that Moose is also with the shenanigans too, because Moose is a serious wrestler, but he's such an unserious person. It's I've seen Moose in unserious matches, and this is right up his alley. He's going to wrestle like he's wrestling, but he's fully got his clown nose on.
Moose called Jordan Grace in the middle of Jordan's interview with Sean Ross Sapp today. Just putting that out there. That's an unserious person. Everyone wants to bury Moose. I'm not going to stop him at this point.
I don't know anything about that man. One Moose that may live in a forest in Canada. But the one thing I do know about him is that he's an unserious person. He's a serious wrestler, but he's not a serious person. He's not serious. AJ Francis, too, I heard is an unserious person as well.
Oh, so unserious. He doesn't want to battle rap Jeremy Lambert, but he is very unserious. Listen, we are also very unserious, but here we are. We're here every week, every Thursday, doing the TNA wrap-up and the post-show. Cresta Star, what you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, I finally got the okay to announce where I'm doing my other wizard job. I'll get into that in 1 second. My name is Cresta Star. If it's your first time seeing me, I am here every Thursday and Saturday going over TNA with Joel Pearl on Thursday. And on Saturday, I do the Collision post-show with Iridian and Riccacino. We talk all things AEW Collision. I have a second wizard job. I am a TikTok seller. You guys can find me over on TikTok at Cresta Star for myself, period, number one. Number two, if you want to buy clothes and you like fashion apparel, shop with Julia or Fashion Avenue, New York City. Cresta Star is there. Just look me up. I'm there. I'm around. If that's too much work, go ahead and follow me on X, Twitter. Cresta the Star. It's below me somewhere here. There's a link tree in my bio. I love wrestling. I don't love you, but I love cheeky tendies. Joel Pearl, where can they find you?
But you love me, right?
Where can they find you, Joel Pearl?
Wow. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. I am all over in the weeds. Fightful Overbooked is our sister channel. That's where you can find me Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 10 a.m. talking about wrestling and a million other things. Listen, our show from this past Wednesday went off the rails, as it should. Matt Cardona joins us Friday on In the Weeds. Go check that out. And of course, I'm here with Cresta every single Thursday talking about TNA or after TNA PLEs or after TNA specials. By the way, last thing, this is a programming note. If you are a TNA Ultimate Insider, that's the $4.99 tier, it's gone. They're getting rid of it June 1st, which means against all odds, you got to watch it on either Triller TV or on TNA Plus, okay? You can do the $1 a month TV feed. I'm still doing that personally because that's how I can watch TNA live. Instead, if you want the TNA Plus app, there's a bunch of promo codes and stuff that they're doing. That's what you're looking at, okay? That's the programming note. We have to go. I'm probably going to get kicked out of this room. Till then, again, I am Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.